Hello, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Bootcamp. Coach Jazzi here. I got a workout planned for us today. So, no equipment needed. You're gonna need enough space to be on your hands and toes. We're doing some planks and push-ups and stuff. Doing a little bit of lower, a little bit of upper body, and a little bit of cardio at the end. So, we're gonna do 3 rounds today, 50 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest slash transition time. And I'm gonna go ahead real quick with demos and then we will get into the circuit. So we're gonna start off with lower body today. And what we're gonna do reverse lunges. We're gonna do all on one leg and then we're gonna switch to the other leg. We're gonna do a 3-second eccentric. So what that means here, so starting off with whichever foot you'd like, we're gonna step back, we're gonna lower 1, 2, 3, and then stand back up. Really explosive through that one. So again, doing all on one leg, nice and slow. Can you pause at the bottom? And then we'll do the other leg. So again, coming down nice and slow, pushing through the front heel. So those are our first 2 movements. Then we're gonna go ahead and get on the ground. We're gonna do a push-up to a pike push-up first. So either hands and knees or hands and toes. You can also do an eccentric push-up as well, but coming to your push-up and then hips to the ceiling and a pike push-up. So that's going to be movement number 2. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and do a plank knee to elbow. So tucking our pelvis in, so butt to belly button, and exhaling either same side or opposite side. Whatever feels good for you today. And then we're going to stand on up. Our first cardio movement here, we're going to do 3 squat pulses and 1 jump. So what that's going to look like, feet hip width apart to the bottom of our squat, coming down 1, 2, 3, and a full jump. 1, 2, 3, and jump. So jumping's not your thing today. You can do a pulse and then a full squat. So that's the option there. And then last but not least, I don't know why my nose just started running. My apologies, everyone. Last one here, triple switch into our single leg RDL. So we're here. We have 1, 2, 3, pushing our hips back, pushing out away, and other side, 1, 2, 3. Same thing, pushing back and back up. So that is our workout today. We're gonna go ahead real quick with warm up. So let's go ahead when you're ready for the warm up. We're gonna go ahead and stand on my mat here. We're gonna go ahead to the top of our space. We're gonna interlace our fingers, grabbing onto one of our knees, pulling towards our chest. And we're going to exhale, step back into our reverse lunge. Hands coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg staying nice and straight. We're gonna do a nice big deep inhale. And exhaling, opening up towards the ceiling, looking past our hand. Thumb is facing behind us. And go ahead and exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bringing our back foot a little bit closer and pushing our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And let's go ahead and exhale. Bring our feet together. Push the ground away and stand on up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So interlace our fingers, grabbing onto our other knee, pulling towards our chest. And exhaling, step back into our reverse lunge. Hands coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight. And let's go ahead and exhale. Opening up towards the ceiling, looking past our hand, thumb is facing behind us. And let's exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer, pushing our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And let's go ahead and exhale, bring our feet together. Push the ground away, standing on up. All right, last part of our warm up here. Let's go ahead and make our way onto the ground. We're gonna do a couple plank to pikes here, so hands and toes. Keeping our pelvis tucked so our back is flat. Let's go ahead. Exhale, push our hips up towards the ceiling. You can pedal our heels. And go ahead, push both our heels into the ground, poke our head in between our arms. And come back down to our plank. And let's go ahead. Exhale, come up. We're gonna do 3 quick ones. Coming back down, 2 more. Exhaling up and back down. And last one, coming up. And then let's go ahead and walk our hands towards our feet. And standing on up when we're ready. We are ready to rock and roll. So, yeah, so we're ready. So we're starting off with reverse lunges. Sorry, I'm trying to take my jacket off. So we have reverse lunges here, 3-second eccentric, 50 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest / transition time. Getting the timer started here in 3, 2, 1, and go. So starting at the top of our space with whichever foot you want to start with, we're stepping back, reverse lunge, coming down 3 seconds, standing on up, staying with our same leg. You can even spice it up, add a little pause in the bottom. So coming down again, nice and slow, eccentric, pushing through our whole foot. So the standing back up portion, so we're concentric, no tempo there, but like I said, adding that pause in at the bottom and then standing back up. So that pause is going to help us really just engage our muscles. Just a little bit more. 3, 2, 1. All right. Other side. So same thing, other leg, and then we're going to go onto the ground for our push-ups. 3, 2, 1. So on the other leg, same thing, making sure that as we step back, we're stepping like our feet are on train tracks. So if you notice, I'm stepping my foot directly behind my foot that I'm stepping back with versus stepping behind my front foot. So the foot that we're stepping back with, staying directly in line with that hip. Sometimes it can be helpful. I like to step out a little bit more for balance purposes, but doing what feels good for you, but just making sure we're not on tightrope. We are on train tracks. But same thing, nice and slow. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have push-up, 2 pike push-up. So you can either do knees or toes. 3, 2, 1. So for our push-ups, we want to make sure we screw our hands into the ground. That's going to help us activate our upper back. Elbows are nice and tight. And then for the pike push-up, so we're going straight into the pike push-up. Hips towards the ceiling, our back is nice and flat. Elbows come down towards our feet and head comes as close to the ground as we can. Everything else essentially stays the same between the 2 push-ups. The form is similar, but our hips are just in a very different position. So keeping that in mind here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have plank knee to elbow. 3, 2, 1. So you can either do same side or opposite side, whatever feels good, but still screwing those hands into the ground so your upper back is nice and flat. Pelvis is tucked. My core is definitely sore from yesterday. We're pushing through. Exhaling. Core is pulling our knee up, not the other way around. We don't want to use our hips. 3, 2, 1. I think that was like the longest I've held that in a very long time. All right, we're standing up. We have 3 squat pulses to 1 jump. 3, 2, 1. So feet are hip width apart. We're doing our little 3 pulses. So 1, 2, 3, and then we are jumping and landing back into our pulse. So we want to make sure as we land, we're landing nice and soft back into our squat position. So we don't want to jump up and land with our legs straight. Gonna put pressure on our knee joints. We do not want that. If jumping is not your thing today, don't worry. Instead, just do 3 squats. Sorry, 3 pulses, and then 1 full squat back into the pulses. 3, 2, 1. All right. Whew. Quads are on fire. All right, last part of round 1. Triple switch. 3, 2, 1. So we have triple switch into our single leg RDL. So we're here. 1, 2, 3. Getting our balance, pushing our hips back, pushing around away. Really key here, making sure as we go into our single leg RDL, our hips are pointed towards the ground. It's gonna help us use our glutes. We're sinking into our hip. So same thing as a 2-leg RDL, where our hips come back, hip stays down, this hip, our opposite hip stays down. If the triple switch is a little bit hard on your joints, go ahead and just do a march instead. 3, 2, 1. All right, 1 down, 2 to go. Reverse lunges at the top here. 3, 2, 1. So top of our space, coming down nice and slow. Pushing through that front heel. Really key here. Same with squats, planks, whatever we're doing. Want to make sure our butt is tucked to our belly button. So our core is engaged. Our back is flat. We're driving through our heels, which is going to help us with our glutes. I know I said heel and pointed to my glutes. You drive through your heels so you feel it in your glutes. And that's going to help us strengthen our legs. We don't want to use our back to stand back up. This is for the legs. It's just like walking upstairs when you really think about it, right? You're pushing through our front foot. Knee is forward, chest is forward. 3, 2, 1. All right. Same thing. Other leg. We're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So again, same thing. Knee. The inside part of the knee is right over our second toe. Chest is right over the arch of our front foot. So just like my squat, my knee over the second toe, chest is over my arches. Same thing here. Everything, if you notice, it looks exactly the same, but now one leg is behind versus right under me. So that's the only difference, is now the reverse lunge is more single leg focused, which helps us strengthen one leg at a time. Really important to make sure we're not pushing off our back foot. We shouldn't push off the toe. If you start to feel yourself do that, pick your toe up as you stand up so you feel that in your glutes. 3, 2, 1. All right. Onto the ground. Push up. It's a pike push up. 3, 2, 1. All right. So step 1, growing our hands into the ground. Step 2, regardless if we're on our knees or our toes, our pelvis is tucked, core is engaged. My elbow just cracked for the second time. I don't know if any of y'all could hear that. Take your push-ups nice and slow, really feeling that in our chest, in our shoulders a little bit. I really want to get a lot better at my push-up form. So I'm taking it a little bit slower and from my knees to make sure it's correct. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, plank, knee to elbow. 3, 2, 1. So same checklist as our push-ups. And again, you can either do same side or opposite side. You can alternate between the two if you would like. Or you can do one round one way, the next round the other way. Or you can do all the same for the whole time. Whatever works for you. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Really trying to get better at my planks too. I think that was a good set. All right. Squat pulses to jump. 3, 2, 1. I feel like my shoulders already have a pump, and it's only, well, I guess we've done it twice now. Okay. I'm gonna face this way. When we're pulsing, we're staying low to the ground. Right back into the jump, right back into our squat. This one should definitely feel tough on our quads. I feel like we're gonna feel it more on our quads than our glutes for this one, just because of the positioning. That's okay. Really, wherever you feel it most. I feel like I'm probably feeling it in my quads. So my quads do tend to take over a lot of times when I'm squatting. 3, 2, 1. All right, shake it out. We got a triple switch into our single leg RDL. 3, 2, 1. So on this one too, if jumping is not your thing, we're marching instead. And if you're finding that's taking you longer to balance on the RDL than it is for you to actually perform the movement, drop your toe underneath your hip and do more of a kickstand, pushing through the foot that's fully on the ground. So for that one, my left leg is doing the work, my right toe is on the ground. I'm pushing only through my through my left heel. So that's really going to help with isolating our leg and focusing on just the glute without having to focus on our balance. 3, 2, 1. All right. Perfect. 2 down. Last one coming on up. Reverse lunges first. 3, 2, 1. So stepping back, choosing your leg, nice and slow. Pushing through our front heel. So again, keeping our core engaged. It's a reminder to myself, I tend to forget. If we really keep that core engaged, we're breathing through our straw, zipping that core up. The more we do that, the more we're going to feel it in our glutes, because we're not going to be using our low back to stand back up. So we want to use our core to keep our pillar nice and strong, pushing through our heel. So we feel that in our glute of the leg that's in front. 3, 2, 1. All right, done with that leg, on to the other leg, and then we're done with our lower body outside of cardio. 3, 2, 1. Nice and slow. Can even add that pause at the bottom as well. That can sometimes help just with extra muscle engagement, muscle recruitment. I love to do tempos and pauses in my own training, so it really helps us just really get really strong by recruiting more muscle fibers. The longer we are under tension, so the longer we're in the movement, the more muscle fibers we recruit and the stronger we can get. So tempo is always important. We don't want to just be going through the motions. We want that mind to muscle connection. 2, 3, 2, 1. All right. Done with our lower body. We have push-up, the pike push-up. 3, 2, 1. All right. You're setting on up. Screw those hands in the ground. Core is engaged, butt to belly button. Using this time, like I was just mentioning, our mind to muscle connection. What's our goal here? What are we focusing on? With push-ups, we have our core engaged, right? We're also pushing through using our chest, right? So our hands are starting here, coming down, and then we push back up. So that pushing back motion, we should feel that activating our chest muscles and our shoulders a little bit. So making sure we're feeling it where we're supposed to be. 3, 2, 1. All right. I do find it better to have the hands at the bottom of the ribs for our push-ups. But we got plank knee to elbow. 3, 2, 1. All right, same checklist here. Oh goodness. The low battery on my laptop. It keeps dying without it being plugged in. So if I get cut off, we have this in our squat pulses, triple switches. So I hope we can make it through the final 3 minutes. We got this. Reset. Making sure, right, the screwing our hands to the ground keeps that back nice and flat. Really key, not just for push-ups, but for our planks to keep our back nice and strong. 3, 2, 1. All right. Done with our upper body. We got our final 2 movements. I feel like it's like a race against my battery. 3, 2, 1. Squat pulses to jump. So 3 pulses, 1 jump. And then we are going into our final triple switch into our RDL. And hopefully my laptop doesn't die so we can do some, some figure 4 to cool down. I think that's going to be the best one today. We can really open up our back and our glutes. And I'm just doing a full squat. If jumping is not your thing today, doing what feels good. I feel like I'm hitting that the end of the workout while we're pushing through. 3, 2, 1. Okay, last movement here. Triple switches. 3, 2, 1. Getting our balance. Really helps if you just sink your hips back. If a lot of times with our balance, it's because our chest is coming forward before our hips go back. So if you imagine your hips and your torso, you can't move it. It's all connected. Your hips drive the movement. Your chest follows. So that's really what that core engagement is for as well. For our pillar strength. Shoulders, hips, torso, right? Keeping that all together. We got a few more seconds here, finishing strong before we get to the ground. 3, 2, 1. And that is it for today's circuit. So go ahead and grab a sip of water if you need it. And we're gonna go ahead, like I said, we're gonna do some figure 4. We're gonna do some quick, deep breaths here. So on the ground, ankle over the opposite knee. And if that feels good, go ahead and stay there. Or we can go ahead and interlace our fingers, grabbing in the middle of our hamstring or in front of our shin and pulling our knee towards our chest. I'm gonna do a few really deep breaths here. So we want to inhale in through our nose into our belly. And then exhaling, thawing away our tension, making our exhales longer than our inhales. And let's go ahead and do one more breath. And as we finish our exhale, we can go ahead and gently release out of that, bringing both our feet back down to the ground. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So opposite ankle over the opposite knee. And if that tension feels good, go ahead and stay there. Or you can go ahead and interlace your fingers, grabbing in the middle of your hamstring or in front of your shin and pulling your knee towards your chest. We feel that nice stretch in the back of our glutes. Gonna help us open up our hips and our back. And let's go ahead and do one more breath. And as we finish our exhale, we can gently bring both our feet back to the ground. And feel free to stay laying on your back, or you can return to a seated, kneeling, or standing position. But that is going to be it for us today. So thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great day, great Wednesday, and then hopefully I'll see y'all again tomorrow.